Hello folks, welcome to Direct Pro Audio. Today we are going to terminate a solderless XLR connector. This is an Amphenol AC3MI connector, and it's a 4-piece connector. The first thing that we're going to want to do is to put on the boot of the connector onto the cable, naturally. And then we're going to cut about 1.25 inches or 1.5 inches of the jacket off of the cable. Make sure you don't cut any of the wires that are underneath the cable. And then what I like to do is twist up the shield, the shield drain. Makes it a little bit easier to manage. And then take the foil shield and just remove that from the cable. And then you're ready to attach the wires onto the wiring harness. This is the Amphenol JAWS retention system. This is the cable harness that fastens the wires down. And if you look on the end of the connector, or the harness, you can see that there's a slot for the cable to slide into. If it's thicker wire, typically you'll strip a little bit more away and then come down just a little bit further, and that will hold a bigger jacketed cable. But this one, conveniently, this is contractor cable, fits in there perfectly. On top of the wiring harness, you'll see that it's numbered. You might not be able to see it on camera, but in person you can see it pretty clearly. It's labeled 1, 2, and 3, and that is for the pin assignment of the wires. And naturally, number 1 is the shield. So you take number 1 and you fold it across the opening that's labeled number 1. Now number 1's got a little door on it too. So you'll close this door, snaps on, and what that does is it protects the wire from making contact, the ground from making contact with the connector itself. Number 3 is the black wire, that's your low side, and pin 2 is hot in the XLR mic cable land typically, and that goes into the slot that's assigned number 2. Okay, your wiring harness is finished. Now you'll take your connector and you'll insert that into your Amphenol chassis, and it's notched just like a regular XLR connector, so there's really only one way that it can go in. Then your wiring harness will go into the chassis the same way that the connector did, and it's also notched. I mean, as you can see, there's only one way that it's going to go in there. Okay, so that's fitting in there. Bring up the boot of the connector. Make sure all the wires are inside and not getting caught within the threads. And you'll screw that on, and as you screw that on, the cable harness is actually getting compressed up against the knives of the connector, and that's what's making a clean XLR connection. So this is a real good solution for us here at Direct Pro Audio, without having to drag out the soldering iron and make a soldered connection. This is a real good way to terminate an XLR connector. That is the AC3MI. This would be the AC3FI, F standing for female, and as you can see, the wiring harness is pink instead of blue, naturally. But I've put this partially together just for a quick demonstration. It goes together basically the same way that the male does. And that just screws on there nice and tight. And you've got your female connector all ready to go. And this is a nice family of connectors. Be sure to visit us at www.directproaudio.com.